Welcome, and today in this video, we're going to get you caught up in Destiny 2. This will all be taking into consideration that you own the most recent DLC and maybe even all of the DLC. They made sure to sprinkle at least a few things in each expansion to make it almost necessary to own for the end game. There are exotics and armor tied to each DLC so far, so get them when you can. They go on sale all the time. I'm going to cover which... I'm gonna cover what you should do and when to get which exotics and specific gear drops as you go to make the game as pleasant as possible. Feel free to skip around however you like. I should have timestamps if I'm not being lazy or forgot to add them. Now, there is a lot going on and it can be confusing or downright frustrating to navigate to the end game, not to mention the time sink that can be extended due to the lack of info. So we're gonna start from the beginning so that you can level up efficiently while having fun. All of this will be from a solo perspective, but having friends can always make it more enjoyable or easier. We're going to start off right after character creation. Your first objective is to complete this mission called A Guardian Rises that you're given right away. Don't worry about anything else. You'll have time to explore later. The quest unlocks the tower, which is the main hub of Destiny 2, and if you keep pushing through it, it ends with you unlocking a quest for Riskrunner, an exotic arc SMG that is absolutely busted against Fallen or any enemy that hits you with arc. Remember that, because it'll be important a little bit later. Once you're done, there's not a lot going on, and the next story node for the original story is locked to Nessus and earning 420,000 XP. You'll get that soon. I highly recommend at this point in this choose your own adventure that you go into Beyond Light. Out of all the expansions, it is the most standalone, has a very solid story, but most importantly is gatekeeping some seriously good loot, a raid, and the Stasis subclass. To add to this, the Stasis subclass has a new feature called Fragments, which you can only unlock 2 at a time per week. The sooner you unlock them, the sooner you have them. Now, remember the Riskrunner that I said is really good against Fallen? This is a Fallen expansion. Every mission is filled to the brim with Fallen, allowing Riskrunner to shine the entire campaign. I used mine the entire way through, even during some of the Stasis part where it wants you to use your abilities, because its killing power is so freaking strong when you're getting shot with arc damage. It will seriously carry you no matter what level you got it at. While we're going through, keep some gunsmith bounties on you and try to complete as many of these as you can while you aren't going for the other bounties yet. This will help you get mod components so that you can purchase gun and armor mods from Ava and Banshee at the tower. Mods are a huge part of the game, so collecting them is very important. Our goal on Europa and Beyond Light is twofold. Complete the story to unlock Stasis and all of the expansion systems, such as the Exo Trials, hunts, and the weekly Stasis mission, and to bump up in power level a little bit without thinking about it. So just push through the story and collect all the guns and armor you find as you go. If your inventory fills up, make sure to deposit any legendary guns you get into your vault for now, and don't dismantle them until later. Destiny Item Manager is a really good tool for this inventory management. You can use it to drag weapons and gear to and from your inventory into your vault and even to other characters. It does a lot more, but I'm not going to get into that now, but the link for it's going to be down in the description. It's going to take a little bit to go through the story, but once you finish it, you'll have 2 choices really, based on what you want to do. You can push right into the grinding to get your gear up, like I'm going to recommend, or you can go straight into another expansion such as Shadowkeep or Forsaken. I personally think it's best to hold off a little bit on these 2 stories and just complete the intros for them so you can visit their respective areas. So with that being said, either you're going to stop here to go run those stories, or you're ready for my next part, the gear grind. The gear grind in this game is pretty tedious and has a pretty large time sink to it, so going about it efficiently will drastically change how long it takes. The first phase of the gear grind, yes, there are phases, sorry in advance, known as the blue gear grind, is the longest by far. It isn't hard, and anything you do in the game that gives loot will give you gear that is progressively getting better at around +5 light per piece. The problem and the grind comes from the amount of levels this consists of now. We start at a power level of 1100, and the blue gear grind is until 1270, until the Witch Queen DLC arrives. That is 170 levels of gear, and it's kind of rough, and I wish that they squished the base level to 1200, but here we are. I personally recommend dividing your time here. I did the entire blue grind within a week, but planned ahead. While you get drops from doing everything, I made sure to complete 8 bounties from each of the tower vendors and from barracks on Europa so that they would have a powerful Engram waiting for me. I didn't collect them until my gear was 1270, so it'd count towards the powerful gear grind, which we'll step into next. After doing some bounties for vendors, the fastest way to get drops consistently is to do public events. The big tip here is to learn how to do each public event and turn it into a heroic one, because heroic public events give better loot. If you don't know how to do one, Google the name of it. Each one is different, and detailing them all would be a video of its own. The EDZ is good for this farming, with multiple fast travel points for easy navigation and a steady stream of back-to-back events. You can supplement in some playlist activities as well. I think Crucible is really good for leveling since it rains gear on you after a match regardless if you win or lose. As you near the end of the blue grind, or even after you have 1270 piece in each slot, you should look at the seasonal activities. If you bought the deluxe edition of Beyond Light, you'll have 4 seasons of seasonal activities to unlock. They're all worth it in their own ways, and you should do as much as you can towards them so that you can earn weapons from them. The current season is Season of the Lost, and it is killing it with availability. You can get weapons from the previous seasons from the Prismatic Caster and the Helm by focusing Umbral Engrams. If it sounds like I just tried to summon a demon through your screen, that's normal, and you'll understand what I'm talking about once you start your seasonal quest. Season of the Lost will have an intro to using the Umbral Engrams, and it's very helpful. So now we're looking at the power grind. We climbed to the top, but we're not even halfway yet. Power grind is from 1270 all the way up to 1320, making it only 50 levels, but the drops aren't as easy to obtain. Normal drops will no longer give you upgrades each time, and now you have to complete specific tasks to push forward. At this point, I'm going to plug another resource I use, destinyoptimizer.com. You can use this to make sure you aren't wasting drops and even track where you can go to get powerful Engrams. Powerful drops come from a lot of content, including playlist activities, completing bounties, and even doing the Deepstone Crypt raid. Powerful drops come in 3 types that aren't really clearly marked in the game. There are Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Each one increases your power level a set amount based on the tier. So you want to start with the lowest one, which is Tier 1, and then do Tier 2, and then finally Tier 3 in order to maximize your gearing potential. For the entire powerful grind, you may receive Prime Engrams. These are powerful drops that you can keep earning even after running out of potential drops elsewhere. They drop randomly, but the most important thing is that you go back to the tower immediately and decrypt them. They are locked at the level you get them, so you can accidentally waste it by getting drops elsewhere while it sits in your inventory. The bonus to the game right now is that to do all the in-game content, aside from Master and Grandmaster content, you don't even need to finish the powerful grind currently. The current raid, Vault of Glass, is a recommended 1300 power level. So now that we're high enough level to do raids, it's time to get a couple of specific weapons so you can be doing some big damage. For Deepstone Crypt, I recommend getting Lament from Beyond Light. You'll get the quest for it after you complete the campaign, and Xenophage from Shadowkeep, which is also after the campaign. Xenophage is out of the way and it has a strange quest, so make sure to follow a guide when you go to unlock it. I have gotten it solo, but heavily recommend at least one friend to ease the frustrations once you get to the dungeon steps. For Vault of Glass, I still recommend Xenophage as an exotic, and honestly, I'd say if you can get your hands on Wither Horde from the exotic kiosk, get it. A few legendaries that are also good that are guaranteed drops are the Ritual Weapons, Null Composure, and Salvager's Salvo. You get the quest to unlock both of these from the Gunsmith and may have already picked them up while leveling. These are high damage weapons that can help clean up bosses in the vault. Neither is much of a grind and will put you in a good spot. The Nightwatch Scout Rifle you obtain during your starting quest is really good and can be upgraded and used here as well, which is why you should keep weapons until you know what you want to keep. It's a good habit to get your drops in order of how much they'll help. So try to avoid most pinnacles until you've done all your weekly powerfuls. Just like powerfuls, pinnacles also have tiers 1 and 2 that you should respect while you level. This grind isn't as tedious, but has a lot going on to get all the drops. Once you hit 1320, you can breathe a sigh of relief as your playtime per week is about to shift from weeklies to doing whatever you want. The pinnacle grind is easy. The list of pinnacles is pretty small, and well-versed players can complete all of them in a couple hours of play each week. Just remember the rules of leveling. Grab your drops in order of tier and pray it's the piece that you need. Doing the challenge in Vault of Glass can net you another pinnacle, and when Iron Banner comes through, you'll get another 4 pinnacle drops that week. Other than that, you just slowly work your way up. This is meant to keep you busy for a good portion of the season before they release the Grandmaster Nightfalls, so there isn't a big rush to get to max level. There is a strat to leveling fast, especially within Pinnacle, but it also works with the powerful grind as well. It's a leapfrog trick in which you get one character completely done with whichever step you're on, power or Pinnacle, and then you swap your weapons to the new character and boost their level fast. Typically, the second character will quickly catch up and pass the first, even if only incrementally. Then you can do this with your third character too, further jumping ahead. This will help in the short term, but will require more time and dedication since you'll be juggling 3 characters at the same time. You can even purchase exotics from Xur for other characters. An example of this, my Titan is 1320, and then I buy the current Hunter gloves on my Titan. They will be light level 1320, even though my Hunter is lower level. He now has a piece of gear that will help boost him higher. None of this is necessary, but I felt I'd be bad if I didn't share this for people trying to grind all 3 classes. You can easily get through all of this content I've talked about so far without a single exotic armor piece. For Warlocks, just run well. Titans, run Top Tree Void. Hunters, use Stasis to boost your teammates' super abilities. Depending on which class you choose, some exotics can make you shine as a team player or as a massive damage dealer, which is where my next point comes in, the exotic grind. This grind is separate from leveling and is a pain you'll experience as a new player or as a returning player who didn't play much previously. Everyone has cool shiny things, but you don't. Thankfully, there is a way to farm exotics in Destiny 2 now. We're going to be doing Lost Sectors. Lost Sectors are on a daily rotation, where one of them is available at Legend difficulty and another one is at Master difficulty. They'll both offer a specific exotic Engram, such as head, arms, chest, or legs, and any Engram that drops has a higher chance of being those. Our play then is to grind Lost Sectors on different days, so that we can try to get as many of the 33 exotic armor pieces available per class as possible, while making the pool smaller so we can focus on things we want first. If you want a future plan and track which Lost Sectors are up and what they will have, todayindestiny.com is a good one for this, and you can see modifiers and shield types there too. The Master difficulty Lost Sector is 1340 and not worth the extra difficulty. The time increase to complete it versus doing the Legendary Lost Sector for exotic farming is bad. The Legend Lost Sector is at 1310, and you can usually get your times down to 5 minutes or less on your runs pretty easily once you get into the swing of it. The exotic drops aren't guaranteed and only have a higher chance of appearing if you're solo and kill all the champions in the Lost Sector. You'll know you did because you'll get platinum when you clear. There are exotics you can only earn from Lost Sectors, but you can also get any other world drop exotic pieces here. They plan to rework exotics, and I see a lot of things changing when Witch Queen launches in February. So I recommend just trying to get as many as you can so that when new builds become OP, you can enjoy the pleasure of destroying your enemies before the inevitable patch. The exotic grind is lessened by Xur's weekly selection and the exotic Engram he offers, as well as the season pass. Xur shows up every week and brings 1 armor piece per class and 1 weapon. The exotic Engram he has and the ones in the season pass are random world drop armor or weapons, but make sure to get his exotic cipher each week and spend it at the exotic kiosk in the tower. You can't obtain any of the exotic weapons in the tower kiosk anywhere else, so choose wisely and try to get 1 each week, since there is the only source of exotic ciphers, except for the one given at season pass level 50. This is a lot, I'm sure, but I'm hoping by seeing it all laid out, it will become clearer on what you should do next. I honestly don't know how this video will do or if it's helpful, so if you like it, make sure to subscribe and like the video for more content. I was supposed to be uploading more frequently and lost some of you because of that, but I had some problems away from my computer and needed to put my focus there. I'm done with that now, and I want to pick up where I left off and make solid content for this growing community. Also, when I stream in the future, I'm going to be sticking to YouTube. The transcoding options on Twitch bother me as a non-partner. Being limited on the quality I can stream at arbitrarily is a bummer, and I really like the growth YouTube as a platform has been having, and I want to support that. So yeah, that's about it. Let me know down below what you think. I have a pipeline of new ideas, and I want to push through those quickly and appreciate the support I've received so far. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.